Hey, good morning everyone. So for today's video, I'm going to be comparing two roasts that I did myself using an Indonesian Sumatra bean that I got from Bodhi Leaf Coffee Traders. I just roasted them. One I did on the 31st using my Hive roaster, and the second I did on August 1st using my machine that I got from Amazon. I wanted to compare the two. I tried to roughly get them around the same final temperature. It's about between like 425 and 435, I would say. Probably 430 being the highest, but because I don't have the most accurate temperature gauge for bean temp, it's kind of like a rough estimate. But I did want to try these out in side by side to see how they tasted since they were relatively similar in final temp. So let's take a look at both of the beans. So these here are from the Hive roaster. See if I can get a better angle. These are from the Fata Morgana. So they do look a little darker. They do look more even. So hoping for some similarities. This bean was definitely one of the more challenging beans that I've roasted. And I want to say it was because the processing method used was a wet hold method. And I believe that's where they use water to help extract the seeds from the fruit. And what that does is, from what I'm assuming, is with water being used, the bean is absorbing more water. So there's more water in the bean that has to be roasted out. So from what I read online briefly was you need to apply more heat in the beginning of the process to dry the bean out during the drying phase. But because I don't really have the best roasting machines to do that, it was a challenge, and sadly I only learned that after I did all the roasting. So this is going to be my outcome of my first experience, I think, doing a wet hold. I'm pretty sure. So let's get the beans grinded up, and hopefully I can nail the prep in one shot instead of having to dial it in. So let's get to it. First up, we're gonna we got that grinded up. So next, I will have to pull these shots one at a time. So we're going to start with the Hive roaster first, which I'm prepping right now. All right. All right, automatic timer is on. Well, I'm upset with myself. I didn't click record, but this was the outcome here. 26 seconds at 41, it was about 41 grams. So upset because it came out so good. I apologize about that. This is the result here. That's the cup. Nice crema on top. Let's give it a try. Trying to see if I smell anything. It definitely has like a, I don't know what it is. I almost want to say like an earthier tone. Whoa. The first thing that came to mind was like an almost like an apple skin, like a dried apple skin. Another note you're supposed to keep an eye out for is like toasted hazelnut, which I'm confident that I'm tasting. So, wow, it's so different from a regular espresso. This came out so good. And another thing I read, because I was so critical on myself for how the beans looked after the roasting, I was reading that don't always go by the appearance of the beans as well, because they were wet hulled. They aren't the prettiest to look at after roasting, and these had almost like a gradient look to them after roasting them. So I was very like upset. I was like, what did I do wrong? That's when I dove into the rabbit hole of learning about wet hold and people's experiences with Sumatra. But this is fantastic espresso. I mean, you really get, so it's supposed to be baking spices as a tasting note. There's definitely some like spiciness, not spiciness, but there is like baking spices taste. Like what could I don't know exactly like per se what types of baking spices they're referring to. It almost feel like they're just talking about a blend of them, which I feel like I can get somewhat of a note of. But when I first tasted it, I swear to God, like I felt like I was eating like a dried apple, especially like the skin. So like the fruit leather makes sense. Roasted hazelnut, absolutely. That's definitely the middle of the flavor body, I guess you could say. Like that's what I tasted the most on the tongue. And then they also mentioned black tea. Black tea, I would almost assume the black tea is definitely jumbled up with the baking spices note up front. Because I mean maybe towards the end too, because now that it's sitting on the tongue, I'm getting like, I almost feel like I have like a tea taste on my tongue. Like zero added sweeteners, like pure black tea, steeped maybe for too long because it's creating a bit of a bitterness. That's what I feel like I'm tasting more towards the back end of the whole experience. That was delicious. And I'm really excited to try the second batch, this one here, because from what I've seen, I literally was at a coffee roastery yesterday with my girlfriend. They also had a Sumatra blend there, a Sumatra roast. And I was going to pick it up, but the roasting date was June 30th, so it was definitely on the older side. So I didn't, but I noticed that it was a darker roast. It was like medium dark roast. And then when I did some Googling to see what other coffee roasters roast They're Sumatra beans too. They also go more towards the darker end. So I don't know what I was getting at with that, but it just seems like that's the trend. I don't know if that's to cover up some of the flavor complexities that the roast brings on the lighter end and make it a more even roast for your lattes or whatnot. So it has like that typical, that normal, somewhat normal like latte taste that people seek after. But honestly, like, I don't know. I'm obviously just going off the top of my head with all of that. So excuse me if I'm wrong, but it's so cool to experience all of these flavor notes. And I feel like it's a crime for people to miss out on that, you know, with their experience with drinking a Sumatra source coffee. But let me not keep rambling on. Let's get this one prepped and ready. And I'm going to clean this up really quick, but I will put a little time lapse on. All right, so I'm actually a little nervous with this prep puck. I think it may have been a little too fine. We're gonna find out together, but it definitely worried me a little bit when I was prepping it. But the only way we're gonna find out is if we do it. So let's get this all ready. Just wanna make sure I get that right there. We are good to go. Pre-infusing. That's sick. No, oh, we look good. Good, the prep was good. Thank God. So one thing I noticed, all right, look at that. So that's it shot there. Actually recorded it this time. So one thing I noticed right away was when I grinded the beans during the time lapse. When I grinded the beans, it had a darker scent, and you could see compared to the first one that this has a darker crema, slightly. At least I think it does. It definitely has a darker scent. I'm getting more of an espresso that you would receive from like a coffee shop. So I'm definitely expecting a little less flavor complexities, but let's see. It's only one way to find out. Yeah, definitely darker. Still earthiness, which is cool. So I'm hoping that there's still some there. I don't know, I shouldn't have had 2 espressos this morning, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, definitely darker. So this one was this is more of your espresso roast, but it seems like I may have burnt them a bit. I wouldn't say burnt. I'm getting like a dark cacao, like super dark cacao. It's still enjoy. I don't know. Maybe I did over roast it. There's no flavor notes comparable in this one. This is literally like if I'm going to a coffee shop and I order espresso, this is like that typical dark traditional espresso that you're going to get. So good espresso roast. Just makes me think that I didn't roast correctly. So hoping with the other roast that I did in the machine that I will be trying tomorrow, because it's the third day. I don't even know if that's a thing, but I wait 3 days after roasting to try, but before doing the espresso and cupping. I'm hoping that these came out a little lighter, but this is what it's looking like right now. I mean, it's still good. Just not like, I'm not getting any flavor notes at all from it besides like a dark, super, I guess you would say dark chocolate. I don't even know. But yeah, so first one was way better. Obviously put more love into it because it's a handheld roaster. I had to shake that thing for I had to rotate that thing for about 14 minutes almost. But I mean, that's the better of the two in my opinion. For me, for my personal taste, I love the whole wallop of flavor just hitting my mouth through the whole experience. And I mean, I feel like that's what most people chase when they're going for different espressos or different coffees from all over the world. It's like you're tasting a different region's coffee to experience almost that like growth cycle that they went through, you know, like I tried different regions coffees because it provides you with different experiences. Like there's espressos or coffees, there's coffee beans that'll give you like fruity notes or zesty notes or a dark chocolate caramel note, you know. Like this one was so different compared to a lot of the other ones I've had, and it was super enjoyable, unique for me. Mainly because like I've never tried an Indonesian roast before, so I'm really looking forward to the other ones that I have. I will be sending most of these out. I'll probably keep 1 or 2 of them. And it's just different. Like I've never experienced anything like that, so that was cool. That's what's given me that chase, you know, like to continue trying roasting different beans to experience, not only for myself, but like I want others to experience it too. I feel like the coffee world, when people get a coffee, like it's like they want to try it sometimes with like as a latte or loaded with sugar, or they want like flavors in it. But it's like if you roast the coffee right, like the flavors are there. I guess it's whether or not you're acclimated to the taste of coffee. I feel like once you can get over that hump of something that maybe tastes so bitter in the beginning, it's like after trying it X amount of times, you really can enjoy like the uniqueness each bean brings. So I don't want to keep rambling on. That's definitely the espresso kicking in for sure. But that was cool experience. I'll be back trying another. I'll be doing a cupping video first using these 2, maybe just specifically focusing on my first batch that I did. And then maybe I'll probably keep one of these. I told my dad he could get one for his coffee machine at home. He just has like a Ninja coffee machine that grinds and stuff, so super interesting. I'm gonna send 2 or 3 to my friend, and then I'm gonna I wanted to send one bag to a local master roaster and see what their thoughts are on it. You know, give me feedback. Obviously, I don't have the high end equipment that they have, where they can control airflow, they can control the gas amount in regards to the heat. So I definitely want to keep growing. Like I think this is the route I really want to chase in a career perspective. I enjoy it a lot. You know, I really, really do. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thanks all for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.